Breaking news, everyone! Have we found Pearl's real father named Eugene? Is Mr. Krabs a fraud? Is the food at the Krabby Patty fish, people? Find out at the 4 o'clock news!
This just in. That's a Bikini Bottom insider.
The Longturnlarry exclusive for Bikini Bottoms. We're talking about Eluge, or Eugene, the Shoreless Sea. I am your Honorable Sensei, and across from me,
The vicious scumbag.
and together, we are
Longturnlarry
Podcast.
We're coming back with a beautiful fish.
This is a fishy situation.
It smells like a fishy situation.
It smells like Squidward left something at the back of the Bikini Bottom.
He left it in the back of the Krusty Krab.
But yeah, Eugene. I'm not going to call it Eluge. It's Eugene.
It's Eugene.
Pearl's real father.
Look at him.
Look at him.
He's huge.
He's a big fish. He's one colorless, blue, for a legendary elemental fish star. Eugene's power and toughness are equal to the number of islands you control. When Eluge enters or attacks, put a flood counter on target land. It's an island in addition to its other types as long as it has a flood counter on it. The first instant or sorcery you cast each turn costs blue or colorless less for each land you control with a flood counter on it.
So, Honorable, sounds like we're about to be, getting some heavy discounts. Okay, you got the Shoreman's discount here. What are we doing with all this extra?
We went to Costco's.
The Deep Sea Edition?
The Deep Sea Edition.
That sounds like a mixtape.
The Deep Sea
The
Edition.
Deep Sea Edition.
Yeah, we're gonna be casting some spells, and it's a fish, so
It's a fish.
we're gonna flood our opponents with islands and make sure they can't untap their land, so they can't do anything. Get hit with a fish.
All right, so you know what you do when you play this? When he enters, you take your hand, you like dip it in like a little saucer of water.
Some tartar sauce.
You like smear it on one of their cards, and you go, "Damn." When they ask what you're doing, you're saying that's your flood counter.
Moist counter.
Yep, your moist counter.
You know the word moist triggers some people.
It has to be. Eugene definitely says, "Oh, I made your land moist."
Like Eugene from Hey Arnold.
That's right. It's perfect. See, it works in so many ways.
So let's get to the deck tech. I think the first thing that I want to start off with, we're being rude. We're being extremely rude. Let's talk about these Stax pieces.
This is not a very nice fish. It sounds like he came with some rules.
Yeah, we're not playing by the same rules as our opponents. So, if you're gonna make people swim in these waters, first we have to make sure their non-basic lands are islands. So we're playing Harbinger of Seas. It's one colorless of blue. For Merfolk Wizard, it is a 2/2. This is Blood Moon, but for fish people.
It's amazing.
And we're a fish.
It's so good. I was so happy to see this. It's so cool. And then, what better way to put this next to it than Ward of Bones? Yet another gross.
I'd never seen this card before until finding
Really?
it. Yeah.
You know, it's crazy. For sneak peek on our next one that we're working on, I was looking at this for a certain cat.
Oh.
because of the concept of how it's same concept, same conceptual concepts. But so listen to this nasty thing that apparently the Honorable and the Vicious were looking at. Looks like the Honorable shops at the same stores. You're not so honorable. So Ward of Bones, artifact, 6 drop, so quite heavy, but does a lot. Each opponent who controls more creatures than you can't play creature cards. The same is true for artifacts, enchantments, and lands. You set yourself up with this on purpose. You're playing a more specialty style deck. You're not go wide. Well, then they just have to sit and wait and stare at you. It's horrifying. Ward of Bones can turn off the entire game if set up properly.
Especially if you don't play a lot of creature. This is what this is. Stop the creature decks from creaturing because we have a giant fish.
Yeah. Then you're like, hey, do you have more than just fish?
Another way. This card's come back for me. I remember we thought this card was really, 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 really good. Mm-hmm. And then we're like, maybe it's not. Maybe it's not. And now I'm back on it. Propaganda. 2 colors and a blue. It's an enchantment. Creatures can't attack you unless a controller pays 2 for each creature they control that's attacking you.
I mean, what's not to like? I get it. There are ways. I can pay. Okay, cool. You had to get rid of some mana for that. You had to. You had to do something.
I mean, the way we play this deck, you're not going to be able to pay.
And that's where it gets really gross because propaganda, by itself, you can get around it. But what if we introduced, say, Static Orb? 3 colorless artifact. Players cannot untap more than 2 permanents during their untap phases. Now, Honorable, we will, of course, explain later how we can get around this. But for the meantime, yeah. Can you guys imagine? You only get to untap 2 things? Yeah, no thanks.
I mean, if you have enough flag counters, let's say it's really easy. 4 is like a good standpoint to be on. You played it. Mm-hmm. You swung with it a couple of times. Like 4 is really easy to get to. And you could play Static Orb and be like, okay, I'm fine. How are you guys getting around this?
Yeah, you're purposely trying to get just set up to a point, and then once the fish is done, then the Stax comes out.
Then the fish could just sit in the water.
Oh, look at that! He can just enjoy his infinite. He in the infinity pool. He in one of the infinity pools.
Rising Waters. We're being evil.
Save the children.
Save the children. 3 colors in a blue. Lands don't untap during their controller's untap steps. At the beginning of each player's upkeep, that player untaps a land he or she controls.
Oh, fun! How fun! How fun! And then, just the icing on the cake. Winter Orb. 2 colorless and I love the Fallout edition. It's so good. My baby. As long as Winter Orb is untapped, players cannot untap more than 1 land during their untap steps. This is just yet another Rising Waters. This is going to be so hard to deal with once it's out. And then, look at the final boy. He's admiring his little Stax pieces. That's what he's doing.
Jinkataxis. Oh, you thought I was going to make a blue deck and not add Jinkataxis. Progress Tyrant, 5 colorless, blue. Whenever you cast an artifact, instant or sorcery, copy that spell. You may choose new targets from those copies. You choose new targets from those copies. This ability triggers only once each turn. When an opponent tries to cast an artifact, instant, or sorcery, counter that spell. This ability triggers only once each turn. We are trying to lock people out of the game.
Yeah. Just plain and simple.
Sorry.
Mm-hmm. You got to get ahead, or this is like truly like a real, you set tempo and then you stacks them.
Right. This is my idea of like, if you wanted to play real like Drago, like real mono blue control.
Yeah, this will do it.
So we do have some protection spells for the fish.
Protect the fish.
Protect your neck. Wait, fish don't have necks.
Yeah, it does. It's just long.
It's just all neck.
Yeah, you just don't know where the stomach start.
Essence Warden. Essence Flux. I'm sorry. Essence Warden is a green creature. Essence Flux is blue mana for an instant. Exile target creature you control. Then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. If it's a spirit, put a +1/+1 counter on it. This one is 1 mana, so we can play Eluge. If we have this in our hand, we automatically get a flight counter. This is free. So you can think of this as either a protection spell for when somebody is trying to remove it on the first go around, and then it pays you back because Eluge entered the battlefield, we get another flight counter.
Oh, very, very true. If it needed to get burned, it's at least being used in a positive way. You're still getting benefit from it. Slip out the back. Hey, don't tell your ex. It's another instant. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. It phases out. Phasing is just a nice flicker effect. You get to keep things that were attached to it. Same concept though. This is just going to be free. This is the fish gets played. We have an immediate ability to protect the fish.
Mind you, if you do phase out the fish, you don't get any of your mana cheating. So be careful. Protect yourself. Siren's Ruse. Exile target creature you control. Then return to the battlefield under its own control. This is if they try to target it. You could blink it. Or you could just blink it just to increase those flood counters. The same with Blur and Ghostly Flicker. That's what all of these are being used for. If he gets targeted, we can just play these spells and go up a flood counter.
It's almost like you want them to get baited in. The beauty and downside to such powerful commanders, you always say this, Lightning Rod. We're going to be attracting a lot of, oh, no, I know what this does. So having these already be free or close to it, very scary to start off with.
By the way, I do want to say this because I didn't understand this with Eluge. I thought that you either had to pick like when you're casting these spells for free, you're actually even if it's 2 colors and a blue, because Eluge can make blue or colorless, you can actually pay that full cost.
Yes. That's why I was saying Eugene was busted when I first read him, because he didn't just say blue or colorless. It specifically says or. So it's like, no. Eugene is so powerful. Such good fish.
I think this is a perfect time to introduce our Longturnlarrys. These are the cards that are pretty much sort of set out to have you have the longest turns, or in our case, make sure they have the shortest turns.
Poor things.
Psych. I was so ready to play this card, Winter Moon.
Welcome back.
Winter Moon is a Stax piece that doesn't affect us whatsoever, and that we break parry on it just naturally because we play almost exclusively islands.
Hey, benefit to being a mono deck.
Same with Back to Basics. 2 colors and a blue for an enchantment. Non-basic lands don't untap during their controller's untap steps.
Yeah, see, both of these are going to really pretty much hurt anyone that's not a mono, and especially anything that's either landfall or 4 color or more. Mercy. You're going to eat them. You're going to set them back the hardest because they're like, oh, I got a ramp. Don't worry. And you're like, yeah, go ahead. Go get all those triomes, champ. Look at you.
No, tap out.
No! Please. Oh, man. This next one is gross. What's the worst thing that could happen when you're trying to deal with, a giant fish that can create oceans? Probably your boat going over. What's that called again, Honorable?
Capsize?
Capsize. Colorless, blue for an instant that has buyback 3. If you don't know, pretty much it just says if you pay the buyback cost, you get the card back after you do the thing. And then it says return target permanent to its owner's hand. So, Honorable, why is Capsize such a Larry?
Capsize is evil. Once we get 6 flood counters, we can cast this for free every turn. So we can see how this says return target permanent. We can start going after people's lands.
Ew.
If we lock them out and they cast a creature, we can return that creature back to your hand. We just time whooped you for free.
Yeah. Also, just so the Larry's at home, the reason why this is able to work that way is the buyback cost is an additional pay. So technically, you say before you play this, I'm going to buy it back. So now it costs 6. And then Eugene, he goes, hey, we got 6 flood counters. That's free.
Oh, that boat, that's free.
And now we can just, that's so gross. It's very gross.
And then also
Honorable.
For the Stax pieces, let me cook. This is a fish. Let me cook. Let me serve it up.
Let him cook this fish.
For the Stax pieces that do affect us on the player's turn before ours, we can just bounce that stack piece back to our hand. Hey, look, we get to untap.
Oh, it's so mean. So mean. Yeah, just keep in mind, these kinds of decks play on your tempo. You got to know what your next turn is. So preemptively start planning. Oh, this thing would definitely be on the ship.
It looked like it got flippers. So it's a little.
It does. Looks like it looks like it's.
I knew cats don't like water, but I feel like this one can swim.
Agreed. Displacer Kitten. 3 colorless and a blue for everyone's favorite blinky cat. It's a cat beast. That's a 2/2. It has avoidance. Whenever you cast a non-creature spell, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent you control, then return that card to the battlefield under its owner's control. AKA, Eugene gonna go for a ride. Go Eugene. Go Eugene. Go
Is
Eugene.
that another flood counter?
Wait a minute. It's gonna cost even less. Go Eugene. Go Eugene.
Also, with 2 of our mana rocks that one of them makes 4 mana, one of them makes 3. We can cast a spell, untap the mana rock. So we can have even more mana to play with consistently after we cast our first spell, because we can use the mana rock and then we cast a spell. Displacer Kit will blink the mana rock. Ooh, give me that mana back, son. Ooh. So once people are staxed out, you have way more mana than they do.
Yeah. I mean, making any type of mana is better than having literally no mana. So, no. Agreed.
The Flood of Mars. I've never seen this British show, and I'm never going to watch it, but I do appreciate this card. 2 colorless, blue for an alien zombie horde. That is a creature type.
That's a creature type.
It is a 3/3. It has Island Walk. Water always wins. It always does. Whenever the Flood of Mars attacks, put a flood counter on another target creature or land. If it is a creature, it becomes a copy of the Flood of Mars. If it's a land, it becomes an island in addition to its other types.
You mean to tell me it creates the exact thing that Eugene wants?
Yeah, this is more flood.
More flood? You
More
looking like a Halo arch nemesis? The flood?
The Flood.
you over here trying to be the flood? I hear you, Covenant boy. And then last but not least, the God Pharaoh's statue. He had to have the return the slab, with the gargoyle wings. 6 colorless for a legendary artifact that says spells your opponent's cast cost 2 more to cast. At the beginning of your end step, each opponent loses a life. This is a timer. This is a clock. And this also just is even more. You thought you were going to have fun? Aha!
I am locking you out of this. Is once you have everything set up, God-fearing statue is just like, here we go.
And now you die. And now you die.
And now you're really locked out of this game.
Boom.
I see oi. What's
Oi.
that? What's that? Oi.
It's tagged as Oi because it didn't fit anywhere else, so I just Billy butchered it.
Evening, cunts.
Soup.
Solve the equation. 2 colors in the blue. Search your library for an instant or sorcery. Reveal that card and put it into your hand. Then shuffle.
Yo, Butcher would totally try to kill that girl. He'd see her do this and be like, soup.
Ridiculous.
What are we searching for? What's a good target?
The target that I've been going for usually is Finale of Revelation. And since we're talking about drawing cards, next we might as well start off with this one. This probably could have been a Larry, but I didn't want to put it there. Finale of Revelation, X blue. For sorcery, draw X cards. Since X is 10 or more, instead shuffle your graveyard into your library, then draw X cards. Untap up to 5 lands, and you have no maximum hand size for the rest of the game. Exile Finale of Revelation.
Is that all it does?
Yes.
That's it? Oh, man.
So this is the card that I usually want to, like, if I'm going to tap out, I'm tapping out hard for Finale of Revelation because it's going to give me my 5 lands back.
Also, too, Larry's, if you don't know, again, I mentioned it earlier, you calculate your spell's total value when you go to cast it. So with X spells, you say, oh, it's going to be for 15 mana. You declare its value. So if Eugene is reducing spell cost by, let's just say 5, you can just look at it very easily as Eugene gives you 5 mana towards any X spell. So Finale is already at 5 if Eugene has 5 flood counters.
And it's really easy to do. And honestly, if you cast Finale of Revelation, the game's probably about to end. Or they're about to get locked out the game.
Yeah, I was about to say the door is closing and they're going to get locked out very fast. So speaking of very fast in the world of, I can't believe you already got these out. Remember, as soon as Eugene comes out, we have a flood counter. So anything for a blue just becomes free. So we have consider, opt, and ponder. Let me say it. Free, free, and free. They're pretty much all the same thing, roughly. Consider is surveil and draw. Opt is going to be scry and draw. And ponder is going to be scry 3 and then draw.
These are typically ones that you want to use in the early game to make sure that you hit your land drops. We are playing a mono blue control deck.
There's no ramp.
There is a couple cards that do ramp.
In theory.
In theory. There's actually a spell that does it. And it's 1 blue mana.
Of course. It's when we like to surf, bro.
No, it's a different one.
Oh, not that one. But you
Not
know the
that
one I'm talking about.
I know what you're talking about. So don't be afraid to use these early to make sure that you hit your land drops.
Yeah, I think it's a good call there because the flicker ones make sense to use or hold because either way they progress you. These make sense to get you set up. They don't really have that same benefit as soon as he comes out. So I can definitely see these being played earlier.
We have 3 creatures in our draw section. We have Wave Breaker Hippocamp.
So scary.
So scary. It's cursed. 2 colors in the blue for Horse Fish Enchantment. That's a 2/2. Whenever you cast your first spell during your opponent's turn, draw a card.
Plain and simple. You're blue. You're going to be doing stuff on other people's turns. Archmage of Emeritus.
Emeritus.
Archmage Emeritus. 2 colorless blue for a human wizard 2/2. Magecraft, whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, draw a card.
More card draw. Don't care. Nesahul Primal Tide, 5 colors blue. It is a Elder Dinosaur legendary creature. It's a 7/7. It can't be countered. You have no maximum hand size. When an opponent casts a non-creature spell, draw a card. Discard 3 cards, exile it, then return it to the battlefield tapped under the owner's control at the beginning of the next end step. So, typically, you want to play this. You want to play this before you start locking people out, because he doesn't do much once people are locked out, except for be a giant beater.
Hey, I mean the extra card draw being slippery, and then also no max hand size, and we're big. Nah, I think Nezuko, the Primal Tide, Nezuko is a great.
Oh my! I hate you.
Elder dinosaur. Hey, it's Nessie, bro. It's a little Nessie dive.
Okay, so we do have a couple of other X spells. We have Pull from Tomorrow and Blue Sun. Pull Tomorrow, X blue, instant. Draw X cards, then discard a card. Blue Sun Zenith, X blue. Target player draws X cards, then you shuffle this into your library. Great.
Love the Zeniths. All the Zeniths are good. Oh, not all of them.
Not all of them.
Frantic Search, because, when you have 5,000 books and forgot that one you needed, for 2 colorless and a blue, you draw 2 cards, then discard 2 cards, and then you get your money back. Untap up to 3 lands. Psych. Eugene's gonna let this be free, and now you just got extra money.
Yeah, this is like a rebate.
Yeah, your mom gave you money for lunch, and then the school gave out free pizza. It was like, hey,
pockety.
Let's go.
Flow of Knowledge. Where's the other one? And Flow of Ideas.
So much flow.
Draw a card for each island you control, and draw a card for each island you control, then discard 2 cards. Massive card draw.
Mono blue. Gotta love it.
Seagate Restoration. We already know. Draw cards equal to the number of cards in your hand. It's also a land on the backside.
Treasure Cruise, the Delve version. Draw 3 cards for 8, but you never pay 8.
And then Dig Through Time and Echo of Eons. Dig Through Time, Delve, look at the top 7. You get to pick 2 of them, put them into your hand. Echo of Eons is sort of our rinse and repeater.
Yeah.
Each player shuffles his or her hand and graveyard into the library, then draw 7 cards. So if
and a flashback.
And it has flashback, so if we're looking for something and we can't find it, we just, dump our hand, put everything in our graveyard back in, rinse and repeat.
Especially if you're set up too. Like you're already set up, you're not really worried, you're just trying to get that next thing. That's beautiful.
We are going to do our ramp next and talk about that card that you didn't know about. Retracted Image. For a blue, it's a sorcery. Reveal a card in your hand, then put that card into play if it has the same name as a permanent in play.
I hate you. I hate you so much right now. Are you really meaning to tell me that we're going to play an island and then pay a blue to then put down an island because we control a card that's already named island?
Yeah.
I'm so impressed and angry. That's the most mono blue way to ramp I've ever heard. Oh my goodness. That's so... Oh, Wizards. This is such a good card. It's such a good card. It was not meant for this, but I like what you're using it for. It was definitely meant for standard because you had multiple copies. Oh, I can see this. It definitely would get you ahead. That's very good.
Yeah, sometimes you get this in your opening hand, be like, oh, it's time.
Retraced image, Soul Ring, and 2 islands is like a heck of a start. You would have 2 lands and a Soul Ring turn 1. That's like CDH, bro.
CDH.
Now,
So let's knock out the, don't really need to mention Soul Ring, Arcane Signet, Sapphire Medallion, Wayfarer's Bubble, Sky Diamond. They're in all of your mono blues.
They're mana rocks of all shape.
The ones that are sort of important, these 3 here, you want to go ahead and take them?
Oh, this one had me dying laughing. This is what I thought we were talking about. Was the time that we go surfing, brah. It's at high tide. So for a singular blue instant, we have until end of turn. Whenever a player taps an island for mana, that player adds an additional blue. High tide literally just, it's for a blue, double your mana. Especially in a deck like this, easily goes off, and then we get it for free, just more value. Scepter of Eternal Glory. Gotta love the machine gods because the flesh is weak. For 4 colorless, you get a legendary artifact that states that you can tap it and add 1 mana of any color, or tap it and add 3 mana of any 1 color. Activate only if you control 3 or more lands with the same name. AKA, I like mono decks. And then finally, Throne of Eldraine. This is one of the ones I feel like a lot of people just are either misusing or overlook. This needs to be in a lot more decks. 5 colorless for a legendary artifact that when it enters the battlefield, you choose a color. We choose blue. Tap and add 4 mana of the chosen color. Spend this mana only to cast mono-colored spells. Or for 3, and tapping it, draw 2 cards and spend only mana of the chosen color to activate this ability. So yeah, agreed. You can't be multi when you use this. So please, again, Larry's mono only.
2 colors, sometimes you can get away with it.
No.
Boom.
It's bad.
All right, now it's time to be degenerates. I know you was waiting for this. Oh, the removal. We have 18 pieces of interaction.
18 of... You sure about that?
Nah. Let's start with my favorite here, Muddle the Mixture. It is blue for an instant. Counter target instant or sorcery spell. It has transmute. So you can discard this and pay 1 colorless blue and search for a 2-drop. You know what that 2-drop's probably going to be?
What's that?
What about a Winter Orb or, know, Winter Moon?
Ow.
Sometimes it'd be Arcane Signet.
You could have run the mages if you really wanted to be that sweaty.
I think we only have 1 mage in here. 1 wizard.
No, I'm saying the like the trinket mage, trophy mage, tribute mage.
Oh, there's too many creatures. Too many bodies. Who needs bodies when you're in the water?
He trying to swim solo. He don't need no school. Next, of course, he's gonna offer you things that you have to accept. You can't refuse them. This is gonna be your classic 1-drop counter target non-creature. It gets 2 treasure tokens. Who cares? Here's 2 cents. Penny for your thoughts. This is a nice time to board wipe.
Stop trying to target my fish.
Yeah, don't look at my fish.
Stubborn Denial. Counter target non-creature spell unless it control leaves 1. Ferocious. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, counter that spell. Wait, we have exactly 4 islands most of the time when we play our fish.
No way.
No way.
So he could totally protect himself.
Immediately. And we're playing Swan Song. Stop trying to touch my fish.
Get a bird. Arcane Denial. It's just a colorless and a blue counter target spell. Doesn't care what type. They get to draw cards, and so do we.
Counterspell. Counterspell.
Counterspell. And
It's, the only card that you can just like read off.
You're like, there it is.
That's exactly what it does. Curse of Swine. X blue for a sorcery. Exile X target creatures. For each creature exiled this way, a controller gets a 2/2 green boar creature token. Sometimes bouncing is not enough. We need to get rid of their things we don't like. Bye, Felicia.
Yeah, and keep these in mind. Curse the Swine is not meant to be a board wipe. This is meant to be, these things are really hard to deal with, and I'm going to get rid of those things. That's what this is for. This is spot removal, but on a broader scale.
I mean you cast it for free. You can do whatever you want,
for
baby.
with 8 mana into it already. No, very true. Eugene do be fronting. He be fronting the cash. He do be. Oh man, talking about fronting the cash. Why is he fronting the cash? Because he about to hit you with the he about to rewind. You thought you was gonna get that spell off? No. 2 colorless blue for rewind. Counter target spell and then untap 4 lands. Again, remember, this thing could be free, and now we're just untapping 4 lands to untap 4 lands.
Cyclonic Rift. You know what's more savage than holding up 7 mana and everybody being scared? Is not holding up 7 mana and everybody being scared.
And being able to cyclonic.
You got 7 flood counters.
Yeah, no, a free cyclonic is very gross.
Some of the evilest shit I've ever seen.
Ooh, these next 2 are unique ones. I like both of these. Delay and Reality Shift. Very similar to each other. Counter target spell. And then if it was countered this way, instead of putting it to the graveyard, you give it suspend. So pretty much you say, hold up. You can do that 3 turns from now. And then Reality Shift is like, nope, I don't like that creature, but you get something off top of your deck.
Delay is like, I need to find a real counter spell. Hold on.
Yeah, give me a moment. And Reality Shift is, I hope the top isn't worse, but it can't be as bad as that thing.
No, you can have it. Resculpt. Don't know why blue gets to exile artifacts or creatures.
Thought that was a green thing, but yeah, okay.
Its controller gets a 4/4 blue-red elemental creature token. It's big token.
Yeah,
beware.
4/4. Yeah, that's a decent body to give.
That's a decent body. Let's get him out of here. Spectral Deluge, Evacuation, and Engulf the Shore.
You know why he engulfs the shore? Because Eugene wants an endless ocean. No shores.
No shores. You ain't see that coming.
Ooh.
Oh, God, I hate myself for that
They
one.
stay salty.
3 colors in a blue. 3 colors in a blue for an instant return. To their owner's hands, all creatures with toughness less than or equal to the number of islands you control. If it's a lot, that's probably going to be everything.
Yeah.
Evacuation just says return all creatures to their owner's hand. We're not fucking around. Spectral Deluge, 4 colors blue for sorcery. Return each creature your opponents control with toughness X or less to this owner's hand, where X is the number of islands you control. You can foretell it for 2 colorless, and then you can cast it for 1 colorless blue, which, you know, it's probably going to be free.
Wow. Who knew that it would not be as expensive as we thought it was?
Last counter spell, Archmage's Charm. Blue. It's modal, instant, choose 1, counter target spell. Target player draws 2 cards. Gain control of target non-land permanent with mana value Soul Ring.
Give me your rings.
Thank you.
Your ring is mine.
And then the last creature we have on board is
The boy.
the whole Breaker Horror, the best 7-drop that I always love to put in every deck. Flash.
You do love this thing.
Flash 7/8. This spell cannot be countered. Whenever you cast a spell, choose up to 1. Return target spell you don't control to its owner's hand. Return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand.
Plain, simple. I play something, that go bye-bye. This is gross. Like, this thing's very strong. It has a definitive end game. It has a very simple plan. You play the commander. By protecting him, you get more flood counters. By swinging on the player who is sadly already slightly behind, allows you to continue to move forward, which then lets you choke out the ones that might have gotten ahead. And then you just start returning things with these return spells, shuffle your graveyard back if you really need to, and then counter them when they try to come back from it. This is very, very powerful. Larry's, listen close. If you don't know, that's how blue in a mono setting likes to play. Is, oh, you got ahead? That's all right. Return their stuff and then wait for them to cast the key piece and then you counter it.
This, I would not play this to be friends.
No, not at all.
This is a deck that you're going to pull out and be like, I'm not fucking around. Like, when that dude in your play group decides he wants to play Joda, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or they're just busting out their, oops, all combos. Oops. I'm gonna infinite, and it's like, no. You're going to have one thing that you get to do. One. Now, be prepared to be hyper focused, because this thing is definitely going to it's a high salt content. Just saying. Oh.
These puns.
Oh, they're good. They're good. I'm just saying. People might say our deck techs are a little fishy, but I think we got them hooked. And if anybody don't like us, we'll feed them to the fishes.
Is this what you guys want? This is what you guys want?
Honestly, Larry's, love you guys. We hope that you are loving this content. This is the Honorable Sensei's disgusting mono blue deck here. So to give it like one overview, how would you describe and explain Eugene?
Eugene is Pearl's real father.
Bikini Bottom Insider.
He went out for some chum one day, and he found that his daughter was gone, and he's been ravaging the seas ever since, looking for his daughter. So people try to tell him where his daughter's at. He's too crazy, so he's going to bounce that idea back to your hand.
Yo, I'm just saying, Mr. Krabs wanted this to happen so that there'd be more ocean to put more future Krusty
Bikini
Krabs.
Bottoms. More Krusty Krabs, yeah.
Yep. So, guys, if you want to follow along, this is 2024 Crabgate.
This is Crabgate. Yeah, this is Crabgate.
No, this is awesome. Well, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. And please.
I need to feed the fishes.
I don't want to feed them with myself. And if there's a commander that you guys would like to see, or a card that you feel like we missed or could have put in here, just please, leave it in the comments below. We definitely would love to hear from you guys.
Unless it's dumb.
And then we really want to hear from you guys.
I am your Honorable Sensei.
And I am the Vicious Scumbag.
And together we are
Longturnlarry Podcast.